Right, so today we have this Epoch Galaxy 2. It's a tabletop electronic game from 1981. Epoch were a company in Japan, possibly still are, I don't know, but they manufactured like LCD games and tabletop games like this, and they're responsible for inflicting the barcode battler on the world, if you've come across one of those. They also made a few other games consoles. These particular type, they're a nice Galaxian, or is it? They're a nice Galaxian clone. These were for pretty common kind of Argus catalogue type fare in the 1980s, or you'd see them in electronic stores and stuff. It's actually a pretty good version of Galaxian. Playing the game itself is pretty simple. All you do is point and shoot and try to avoid being shot. So we'll give it a quick go here and see how far we get. The fire button on this... Oh, dead already. The fire button on this is a bit defunct at this stage. Probably through years and years of button mashing, while your parents go slowly insane from the click of death coming out of this machine. Incidentally, there doesn't seem to be any way to turn the sound off on this, so this must have been a real fucking nightmare to be in a room with. Okay, I'm sure you can see this console has actually seen better days. It's missing its battery cover, so I was using a lab power supply to give it 6 volts that it needed. Oh. Let's get into this thing. We're in. Oh, shit. Right, I don't know, was that meant to happen or what, but look, we're in anyway. Okay. Okay, so first up we'll have a look here. We have a big Fresnel lens on the display which, whoops, sorry microphone, magnifies anything behind it. So, and the Galaxy decals inside and that as well. So we'll put that aside. And the button pad with, well, there's your problem. We have a kind of an old spring-loaded button. It actually looks like it's cutting through the PCB there. So just put our switches in place, or our buttons in place now. And it's looking fairly mouldy on the inside. So, well, the switch contact is just a piece of metal hot glue or plastic welded onto the back of that. Whoop-de-doo. Now let's see the device itself. The screen itself is actually a big, it's a VFD anyway, but it's a big single glass tube. And you can see the all of the enemies underneath. So there's 2 different types of coating on the enemies to give them a dual colour appearance. And then you've got these colour gels as well over the screen to delimit different areas of it. So we'll fire this up in a bit with the chassis off, and we'll see what the natural colours are like underneath. I'm assuming they're going to be kind of orange and green that we saw down here. Now let's get in and have a closer look and see what's underneath this. It seems to be very over constructed for what it is, almost to the point of making an arcade tabletop game. Definitely the PCBs inside don't merit it. And it's looking more and more like we're just going to have one big ass chip, which we do, yeah. Now, so there's the VFD with all of its contacts on the side. So it's mounted on the side. It's got its indicator is still black. It's all good. And if we very carefully tease this up, we can get in underneath and have a look at what's here. So we have our IC there. Just got something glued onto the... Oh, that's interesting. Look at the back of the VFD. That's nice. There's kind of conductive contact on glass there. So, oh yeah, this is coming off nice and easy now. So we'll see what we have here. It's an NEC custom chip anyway. So a big ass custom chip driving, I'm assuming, driving all the little bits of that display in the sound channel. Actually, that might be nice to see where our piezo is broken off and see if we can pull the waveform from the piezo out into the oscilloscope. So that's what's inside. I say we hook this up to the power supply and we'll just get a look at the thing running without a cover on. We'll turn off the light, we'll play it for a while and see how it looks. Oh, that looks pretty good. God, that sounds chronic. I think this is the rocket ship part. Yeah. You have to land back down on the base pad for an extra life. Come on. Oh, fuck. Well. Okay, I said we'd have a close-up look at the board anyway. If you've noticed any changes in lighting, it's actually 2 days later now. I keep getting interrupted making this video. But basically, I'm going to start on the button board, and you can see there's a close-up of the damage to the PCB by the button contact spring. So, right around here, it's shorting between the actual button itself, the button line, and the ground when the button's pressed. So that's obviously screwing things up and making that button work intermittently. Everything else is in pretty good condition for the age it is. There's a couple of interesting enough things on the main board. One second, now we get this in focus. There's a little circular transformer here. This is setting up all the voltages anyway necessary for the VFD. I think it's running at about minus 30 volts. And as well as that, underneath we have the NEC processor chip. So this is I think it's a D553, and it looks like that model code is a standard model code for across a few different games. So the D553 stays the same, and this little subcode here changes depending on the variant of the game, and they all drive a kind of a similar LCD matrix with 4 7-segment or 7-segment numerical digits on. Okay, so I'm going to use the multimeter here to figure out which pin the piezo here breaks out on. We can try to take a sample from that using the oscilloscope. So. There we go. Doesn't break out anywhere else. Cool, so it's seven. So there we go, there's our trace on the scope. I don't know You probably don't have a great view of that from this angle, but let's see if we can capture the opening tune now. Cool. Okay. Well, we got something. It didn't look that good. Perfect. There we go. Okay. Let me cut off that annoying ticking. Now I'm just going to save that waveform. Let's save it as a CSV. There we go. Now that should take a while to save, so we'll come back when it's done. Okay, our copy is finally done, so I'm gonna transfer this USB over onto the signal generator. Well, it's the next morning. I left the USB stick in the frequency generator last night for ages, and with no sign of it copying over, or nothing happening, no interface. I was pressing buttons and nothing happened, so eventually I just switched the function generator off and powered it up again, but it looks like it copied over okay anyway. So now we have stored. So now that we have the Galaxy starting theme transferred over onto the function generator, I'm going to throw this small little piezo just directly onto the output, and we'll see if we get some sound out. So here we are. Wow, that's very slow. One sec. There we go. So it's basically coming from the piezo now. Okay, so now that we have that done, we'll throw this thing back together. Okay, just before I go and reassemble the whole show, you can see I've installed a bit of plastic here just to kind of grommet over where the PCB is worn off, and just a bit of insulating tape around it as well. So that's just a really rough fix, but you know, it will serve its purpose. So hopefully that should fix up the fire button. So I'm going to go ahead and get this back together now. Okay, so it looks like we're back in business here. Let me just check this fire button out now to see how it works. That seems to be way more responsive. So there you have it, that's the Epoch Galaxy 2. This end of the world by Epoch. They were, I believe, kind of a... Shut the fuck. No.